welcome back to Chengdu, China, where we are here for Game 5. 2 days in a row, we are blessed beyond belief with good League of Legends and with incredible series. I'm Medic, this is Chronicler, over there's Betty, and we are honored to bring you through the final game of this series.
We've had quite the banger series, gentlemen. I'm excited to see how things pan out. I haven't had confirmation, but I'm pretty sure G2's on the blue side, which means that things are going to be interesting because T1 found a pretty effective solution in Game 1 in terms of prioritizing the Varus, giving away the Orianna and saying we can pick the Azir. I think that was massive when pairing that up alongside the Xin Zhao to give them early game control and just lane dominance. You have to imagine that Varus is going to be a higher priority for G2 this time round, and I question, how will G2 answer? Will they give Orianna to Faker and answer with Azir of their own, or will instead they prioritize the Ori?
Looking at the bans thus far, in the last game,
Azir banned.
Yeah, there's Azir, and I wouldn't be shocked if they end up actually prioritizing the Orianna.
They probably will. They'll give over the Varus.
Oh!
But now it's Varus versus Kalista. I feel like G2 should go for the Varus, but they'll probably go for the Kalista.
I gotta say, might be a novel idea, but what if you're struggling in your 2v2 bot? What if you lane swap?
I mean, maybe they could do it.
Because the thing for me is we keep talking about it, and this is what the series meta has gone down to, right? The mid lane matchup has been so pivotal. I feel like it's been very swingy as well.
Ooh. And when we think about, I was talking to you about this earlier, when you look at what Faker has played this year, they took both of them! They did both!
Okay, so Kalista top of possibility, Kalista support, obviously with lethality, something we have seen from Keria before.
It was he that debuted Kalista support, no?
It's gotta be. I don't think Koma's gonna be like, okay, Ziz, play Kalista top. I don't think we've gone that far yet.
Said play Bane top, I'm just putting it out there.
I know. Now? You know, no joke, I'd love something like, oh no, they're lane swapping, it's the lane swap. It's the...
Cracking out Game 5. It's
okay, we're swapping.
It's the swap. They're finally doing the swap. They've practiced for so long. In Game 5, they're bringing the lane swap out. T1 have to recognize that this is happening.
But here's the great subversion of expectations, Betty. You think it's happening. T1 go top lane. You're just in your normal lane again.
Oh,
but there's so many,
what if they see it
variations.
coming?
No, but I think that even, like, you let G2 swap because you know that your siege is so much faster. You can get so many plates, you can funnel a much greater lead, even if they get out of the early laning phase. Ari for Faker! Oh my goodness! They wanted to make sure he gets something comfortable so that the pool can't be pinched even more, and it's going to lock in one of his all-time favorite champions.
This is such an incredible amount of faith. Because I think Faker today mechanically just hasn't looked that good, and Ari is one of those champions that falls completely flat. T1 stands or falls by Faker, and the Ari has been a pretty popular pick into the Taliyah. At first sight, you might be like, but Ari has dashes, Taliyah counters dashes, but because of the amount of mobility you have with the triple ultimate, actually able to play around.
I was about to ask, will they ban Poppy again? Because it's Kalista Ari.
I mean, they should have. G2 can now pick the Poppy.
Typically, G2 would put the Lulu here.
Yeah.
You'd have the Demolition rune is what they did domestically, and then they would move to a side lane and then, you know, do the whole split pushing thing.
I mean, that's why they banned the Jarvan as well. Low mobility carries.
Lane swap thing.
Lane swapping. I mean, it's kind of split pushing, just, you know, a few steps removed.
So they're just getting rid of all the dive from Ona. Very likely looking at a Xin Zhao now. Nocturne as well.
That's exciting. Sejuani still does give you good threat on the back line and gives you a tank to stand in front of the Ari. Lee Sin.
It's got to be. Like, I think that this game...
But if they do that, it's Poppy, bro.
Well, I know, but it's Poppy anyway. That's the problem. Maybe you want to look and just lock in, say, the Cassante for topside. Otherwise, T1 must have an amazing plan.
Ona's Lee Sin.
This is the... Again, it's the freeze Poppy angle of all time.
The only thing about the Poppy is, as a support, it doesn't give you that attack speed buff that something like a Lulu would do, so you do lose out. You could put a jungle.
You put a jungle, and then I'm wondering what T1's response is going to be, because Zeus, it might end up being just one of his carries. T1 with a full carry composition would surprise me.
And there's the Poppy!
Oh!
I love this from both teams. I mean, like,
Velvet,
G2 just saying, okay, the thing we practiced and comfort, let's just go for it. T1 doing a very similar
When
thing.
Yike debuted in the LEC, this was one of the early champions that he brought out. Cassante, no surprise from Zeus. Remember that I don't think Cassante's lost in the last 2 days.
Big thing
I don't
here.
think so either.
Big thing here is that this time Zeus obviously, even knowing he's going to go into a lane swap, doesn't also go for the self-counter pick with the Poppy going towards the support role. That said though, T1 better blow up this game in the first 10 to 15 minutes. And even with the lane swap, the onus is going to be on them to find huge early leads. Because otherwise, if you look at what G2 have, once you get to mid to late game, no one on T1 is ever going to touch Hansama. And I don't think he's had the best series so far. But if you're a Jinx with Talia and Poppy standing in front of you and a full short-range composition on the other side, the game's got to be yours.
I think that T1 just have like zero utility, right? And that what they do have is like very single target, right? Like their engage is so weak. Compare that to Broken Blade, Mickey, that both have great disengage and engage tools.
But they kill you.
I mean, they do. There's a lot of damage.
Well, that's the
Death
point.
is the best form of CC, Betty.
It's going to
dead
be
people
exciting.
walking around.
A lane swap is pretty much guaranteed for G2. We'll see how T1 respond. We're going to game 5. Owner's Lee Sin is something I'm always excited to see. Yike on his Belveth, comfort across the board. Let's jump into an incredible decider in this series.
Take a moment, take a breath. Probably the last one you're going to get for about 30 minutes. These two teams have butted heads, have battled on the Rift for 4 games, and now it all comes down to this. You paid for your whole seat, you're only going to need the edge of it.
5 years was the last time these two teams went to 5 games. MSI semi-finals 2019, the one that G2 did go to win. The one that us EU fans have been holding on to and have been praying to see that series again, and here we are seeing it materialized. A rivalry, an international rivalry that has not sparked for a while, but is elating so many fans today. Let's see how things pan out. The lane swap expectation coming through Hansama, hovering around the bot side of the map.
I don't think they're swapping.
They will. They might do the split map strat. They might do the split map into potential bot dives.
Mickey also went for Halo Blades. Just as another confirmation, they're going to be looking to go as aggressive as possible.
It looks like it's going to be a delayed invade into split map.
What you can do early on a lane swap is overload one side of the map to try and get the summoners out, and that's what G2 are doing here. Flash forward from Mickey, puts the buckler down. Gumayushi still has the flash. Yike unable to get close enough. Caps coming in from the side as well. G2 just overloading. Carrier's going to start putting some damage down. Guma has to flash. Ward down, Charm though. Caps flashes the walls there, so the Pathmaker first.
It's a 5v5, a blue buff. T1 is committed to denying the split map from G2. So they've matched with 5 people. Zeus being here as well means that it is a very awkward situation. Level 2 trying to be secured by Owner on the Wolves.
And Yike's going to try and stop him from doing it, but he's stepping further forward here. Stun from Mickey. Carrier tries to flash away. The Ignite is ticking, but they just don't have the damage to take him out. Yike now trying to escape, but the Pathmaker locks him up against the wall. He has to flash. Owner gets 2. Where's he going to go? Back towards his blue. TP from Broken Blade. Both the flashes of the T1 bot lane are down.
One big thing though with these double Halo Blades lanes is you need to look for level 1 dominance. Carrier has already forced back. So that is going to be much harder for him, and Guma also no flashes available on the immobile characters, I think is going to be pretty detrimental.
Oh, Mickey just took a tower shot there. Not ideal with Carrier making his way back out into the lane. Of course, he does have the Ignite, but the level advantage that G2 is going to find themselves with. I wonder if they'll push this in and actually look for a swap.
It's a possibility. Hansama get that last minion. Owner obviously ahead in terms of the jungle as well. Yike having to flash back now on the Krugs.
Oh, but they've done this before. You expect them to go for the reset, because why wouldn't you? But Belveth is hovering as well. Yike needs, there it is, level 3 secured for Yike. How suspicious will T1 be? They're skeptical.
Sentinel out, Hex Splash into the wall. Guma down, Mickey takes it.
First blood for Mickey. No flash on Gumayushi, ends up working out. They don't need the lane swap. The invade has worked out for G2. And now it's a 700 gold lead in the hands of the European squad.
And particularly with the drop that T1 went for, losing early control is devastating. Guma going down there, worst case scenario as well. Yeah, Keria able to pick up a little bit of the wave, but that's not who you want. And even more pressure now towards the top side of the map here for T1. The one upside owner has been able to farm, whereas Yike, as you pointed out, a little bit delayed there. Broken Blade.
Just trading in here, Yike went Scuttle Crab, now still hasn't farmed up that much. Only had a couple of camps. Zeus is going to be forced away. Owner can try and invade here. He's not seen by Yike.
Smite used early from Yike. Owner has his available.
Sonic Wave, that's the steal. Owner should be able to get it. Smites it away, waited until it was about 500. And now that's a 2-3 camp lead, in fact, for Owner.
Really good start for Owner. One of the advantages gained for T1. We'll look back at this play. Hex Flash used from Mickey. Knocks Guma into the wall.
That's just nothing Guma can do.
I mean, the heal comes through. I mean, the bad news is that the first blood goes to Mickey, of course. They would have loved to have gotten that gold onto Hans, but they'll take it. The biggest advantage they've gained is, look, the experience. You'll see Hansama about halfway to level 4. Admittedly, with this wave, Guma's not that far off.
Guma was alone under the tower for a while in the early game, so has been able to get that little bit of extra XP. Broken Blade dashing in here. Pathmaker back. Owner looking for the Sonic Wave. Broken Blade does have his flash. Zeus flashed away from the Sonic Wave there. Broken Blade able to survive, but now in a much more precarious situation in the top lane.
Wave in a bit of an awkward spot, but it should get fixed. Caps and Faker just trading back and forth. Faker with a small CS advantage. Broken Blade is going to be a kill!
Zeus dashes away, has popped the Ghost. Charm in the mid lane though, as Owner's on the board.
The 2v2 of this Ari Lee is going to have to be the thing that digs T1 out of this early deficit. An Owner picking up an early kill, absolutely huge. Broken Blade, even with his flash being forces Zeus to Ghost. Neither top laner having their teleport available, particularly in a lane where one of them is resourceless and has a lot more innate sustain. Actually, a really big lead here for Broken Blade, as he's going to be able to push in this next wave as well. And Zeus, just to make sure that he doesn't die, has to back off.
All right, so I was hoping we could get a replay of this. Of course, Caps, no flash available. Applies the slow. Nice flash in from Owner to just increase the likelihood of guaranteeing the charm. That was enough to get them the kill. Faker commits the TP top lane. He's going to go catch that wave. They'll send Zeus off to mid.
It's actually a swap coming out from G2 now, Very.
That it is.
Summer working his way up.
They want to get those
side.
grubs, of course. I mean, it makes sense. Also, get them away from that volatile bot lane 2v2. Keria recognizes what's happening on the map, making his way towards mid.
Big thing here now is that G2, the one thing that I think they still need to be respectful for is the amount of early game skirmishing power this T1 comp has still is absolutely insane. Single kill can start the reset chain for Keria and Faker. The G2 not going to be contested here whatsoever as the lane swap comes through.
Importantly for T1 as well, Broken Blade just burnt his flash in the top lane. Obviously, Zac very difficult to kill, but you do have double Halo Blades AD carry in that bot lane. If Broken Blade overextends, there's a possibility you can take him out. Caps has the Weaver's Wall, Zeus is here, Owner's standing out of vision. Baker's moving up. Mickey looking for it, Owner's still waiting, Zeus hits 6, but it's rooted. Can't go any further. Broken Blade looking for Gumayushi. Flash heal still available for the T1 AD carry. Keria here to bolster his defenses. Let's bounce from Broken Blade. Just chunks out Gumayushi. Doesn't get a summoner. Zeus now a target. Pathmaker's forward. Gets the stun into a hammer shock against the wall. And Hansama is on the board.
It's the Poppy again. Locks him down. Mickey denies him the opportunity to isolate a target and drag him through the wall to the waiting arms of Owner and Faker. And so many minions are going to be lost here.
Caps is sacrificing a lot to set up his bot lane for success, but 1,000 is the goal lead for Hansama. We saw Guma and Keria locking in this bot lane to win out on the 2v2. But what is happening? They're not getting it. They're not getting the strength of this Varus Kalista. They are being denied it as Guma a full level behind Hansama on this Jinx.
And where are Gumayushi and Keria on the map? Top lane. So where are Hansama and Mickey going? Bot lane. Immediately pathing away from it. There's no grubs for another 2.5 minutes. There's a Drake on this bottom side, and Hansama and Mickey will get pushed through that bot lane. Super Mega Death Rocket coming out here as well.
Just to interrupt the backs.
Just stop the backs. Keria doesn't get to recall.
Oh my god, absolutely brilliant. It's going to delay them so much. Cassante making a beeline back towards top lane. The TP is available for Broken Blade in a minute and a half. It's going to be unleashed. Hans is going to push this wave in as quickly as he can. The question for me is, do G2 want to try and go for an early Drake? They could just choose to sack it. They could say, we don't care, the grubs are our priority, as we want to make sure that we have more sieging power and more play towards these plays. Look, they're hovering. They're faking that they've gone back to base. Guma was skeptical earlier, still lost his life. Let's see if he falls for it again.
Got to be more skeptical this time around, although I do think with no vision whatsoever. Oh no, he's walking back up.
Yeah, he can just go in. Guma's there. Look at the don't lock. Immediately double flash from Guma carrier. Mickey dashes away with a heroic charge. Owner's in the river. But that's exactly what G2 wanted. Obviously, a kill would have been good, but there's no summoners. No flashes for Guma and carrier.
T1 do start up the dragon here. Does look like that is going to go over. No sums is absolutely huge with the amount of dive that's available for G2. Trying to stay alive against Talia, against Belvev, against Zach. Going to be so much harder. One of the really big things is with this continuous swapping as well, this T1 comp is so reliant on early tempo and finding early skirmishes. So getting to an objective first, trying to force your opponent to then play into you, and then take them down with your spirit.
Oh, this is beautiful from Zeus. Gets the all out for Broken Blade with the left bounce. Can just heal up from that volatile matter. Elastic slingshot out. It's an ultimate for an ultimate. Zeus popped the ghost as well. Mickey looking for Guma, no dash. Chain of corruption into the zap. He's dead, says Chronicler, and G2 agrees.
T1 is being read like a book. Guma having an incredible series up until this point, but now getting punished left and right by this Poppy that, again, we saw coming like 2 picks in.
I mean, I'm agreeing with you, Chronicler. The Poppy felt like the obvious choice. And Mickey, he's having a stellar game on it once again. The pillar that is Gumayushi is crumbling under the pressure of Mickey's Poppy. And they're going to look to take another shot at the pillar.
Steadfast presence knocked into the wall, and down goes Carrier.
A killing spree for Hans Summer. 1.8k the gold leads.
Yike needs to be careful though, because Faker and Ono on the collapse. Broken Blade in the top lane. Spirit rush forward. Faker looking for the charm. Yike tries to dodge away, but he doesn't have another dash. There's the charm. Ona gets his second.
This is the saving grace for T1, Faker and Ona. This mid-jungle duo, you mentioned it earlier, Chronicler. If they can keep finding these skirmishes, there is an angle back into this game.
That said, they're still going to have to find a way to reliably get on top of Hans, which is just hard to imagine, even with how good T1's team fighting can be. The last game, we're in control very early on, 2-level lead here.
If can get one of these, he gets the mites for his team. Not huge, he almost got one, but can't quite do it. T1 will secure 3 apiece.
Wait, bot lane again, look. They've just spotted Carrier on the grubs, which means the Gumayushi gonna be denied even more farm. This is the first time in a long time I've seen Gumayushi at this kind of deficit.
He's been the carry for this team so often through this split. Probably the best performing player, maybe alongside Faker, depending on who you ask, through 2024. But here he is 3 levels down on Caps as Mickey goes on to Faker. Hammer shot coming out. The chase continues with Mega Death Rocket. Not quite enough to kill off Faker, but that's the flash burn from the T1 mid laner.
Still no flash on the Ahri. Going to take away a lot of the offensive capabilities, make it harder to make plays under the Talia as well. As a possible bot lane dive might be imminent here. Faker does get his back off though, and teleport's available, so I want to, maybe G2 should exercise some caution.
Not just a Weaver's Wall into Guma dying here. Cap stepping forward, Weaver's Wall not used. Seismic shove enough. Base call will pull out Gumayushi. Mickey's running up towards the rest of T1. A kill over to T1, good reactions.
G2 getting a little predictable there.
Faker going in with the spear rush.
Nice
Charm,
charm.
Hans Summer cleanses it. Ona looking for the Sonic Wave. Hans Summer does have the flash. We're away from the Tempest Cripple, Dragon's Rage. Sonic Wave, Cat splashes away as well. As Ona's taken down to half HP. And T1 are looking for more. They can see blood in the water. Sonic Wave just wide from Ona.
Faker and Ona make their presence known. Chronicler called out the TP, and it felt like the G2 just overcommitted to the play. Caps gets a nice knockback onto Gumayushi, but it wasn't quite enough, thanks to the ultimate from Carrier bringing him to safety. I think Mickey's game plan was to just try and lure T1 away from the remaining G2 members so that they could escape, but T1 saying very loud, very clearly, we're not out of this game just yet.
Biggest win there, I think, for T1 is the double summoners that were taken from Hansama. No flash, no cleanse.
It's very true.
On this Jinx. But at the same time, like looking at the setup, right now is not really where you need your Jinx to be the main character. Like, yes, Hansama is fed, but the base damage of Poppy is still really, really high. You have a Bel'Veth who, while behind the Lee, still with the Kraken Slayer is going to be able to do a whole lot. And we've already seen how much damage Broken Blade can do on this Zac as well.
And this is where Zac's just base numbers are so powerful.
Yep.
Obviously, he scales up with his health, with his opponent's health, but early doors, you just have so much raw power in your kit. It's a 2,000 gold lead right now for G2.
Worth noting that Cap's suddenly back in the game, by the way. He was down like 20 CS, a full level. Now they're dead even. Not quite sure how he's been able to pull that one off, but even after all the early pressure, he's been able to find impact once again, keeping up with Faker wherever he can, playing safe in the mid lane as Yike hovers around the top side of the map.
And Yike would really like to take this Rift Herald, get your true form early on. Gives you so much more power on the Bel'Veth. Mickey, oh, flash away by Gumayushi.
I mean, he gets
That's
what he
all
wants.
Mickey really wanted, as you say. Bel'Veth, though, still on the Rift Herald. Stretching strike across, and Guma has no flash, but he dodges away from the Elastic Slingshot, and now the TP's invested by Zeus as he wants to join the party. Weaver's Wall will separate T1 a little bit.
T1 know as well, you can't give up the Rift Herald to a Bel'Veth, and this composition already is so reliant on getting early leads. If G2 get the Herald, one big punish tool is taken away as Caps.
Ona going in, safeguards forward, dodges the seismic shove, misses the Sonic Wave, and Caps just dances away from everything in mid lane. Tower going down in the top lane. Rift Herald started, I think, by Mickey as well as G2 know that Ona's path down towards that bottom side.
Incredible awareness from Caps. He was so suspicious after seeing Ona in the river. Remember that Caps earlier used the ultimate to lock off Gumayushi and Keria from escape, but once his TP came through, he also gained information on Ona in the river, and he was afraid of a potential dive. They avoid it, they secure the Herald, and while conceding the Dragon, they continue to funnel more gold into Hansama.
One of the biggest pieces of criticism that was there for T1, particularly in, say, 2022, was the way that their drafts would very often go towards what they like without taking really into account what their opponents were doing. And I feel like we're seeing some hints of that here as well. To add insult to injury, right now, the 2 Drake lead ends up being a Chemtech Soul, which definitely going to be the least amount of value that you could have as Mickey.
Baker has no flash. I mean, this would be so greedy for Mickey to go for this play.
Hands can't give it away, though.
Looking for vision. Mickey steps forward. The auto's going to chase him. Look at the buckler go. It's zooming. Bonk.
You went for Kong, not Bonk?
I went bonk. I said bonk.
Oh, I thought you said Kong.
That's because I went.
I'm glad we were syncing up. Only took us 5 games.
Clear one in the bot lane there
Gonna
for
secure
G2.
another
Yeah.
tower.
So
That
synced
Herald.
that we say exactly the same thing.
That's
at the
you
same
two.
time.
That's you two, okay? That's not on me.
Oh man, I'm so happy right now. This series has completely delivered, and I'm not going to count T1 out just yet. Faker and Ona, I've seen this duo achieve incredible things before, and I think that they can do it in this game. Hans is in a great spot, but his flash is still on cooldown.
Faker coming across here into the steadfast presence. The stun doesn't quite land as Yike dashes forward, dashes back. The true form allowing him to dodge over those walls. Ona looking for Caps. Caps gonna base check, safeguard, knock back, Sonic Wave, sizing shove, dodged. Caps trying to get back to Hansama, and he'll do it. Yike! The body block from him. Caps dashes away, but the Foxfire chases him. Ona looking for more as Yike tries to escape. Chain of Corruption on Hansama. He cleanses away from it. Once again, it's Caps getting caught. That gives T1 a little bit of an in back into the match.
Caps holding on to his flash throughout that entire exchange. Likely because T1 can't really convert this into anything. It is a kill, and it's a valuable thing to grab, especially giving it over to Faker. But it doesn't result in an objective gained. Mickey Hand still hover around mid. Faker going to be sent to bot lane. Caps has the TP available. Yikes, still so squishy though. Gumayushi kind of having a field day when he's able to land these arrows.
One of the big things, though, that T1 are going to have to find a way to deal with is once Broken Blade starts joining fights, because no one in the team actually is good at taking down tanks.
It's a good point.
Particularly not when you have 2 lethality carries in an Ahri.
Yeah, Malignant's Lichbane Ahri as well.
Exactly. So not going to get any help with when it comes to killing Broken Blade from that. You see here, Caps just walking into unwatered territory, Owner catching him off guard, and then here, so close to making it out alive.
I'm surprised he doesn't just flash over the wall. I think he could have got out, but
Yeah.
in any case, he loses his life. Medic called it the W from Ari, securing the kill in the end. 4-4 now the kill score, 2K the goal difference.
And such an important series for these two teams. We've mentioned it a couple of times, but it was way back when in 2019, the last time G2 were able to take a best-of-5 against T1.
In 2020, they couldn't even get a game off them.
Yeah. It was a long, hard road back for G2 towards the heights of 2019. I'm not going to say that's anywhere near where they are, but this victory is a step on the road for them. For T1, international best-of-5s are their kryptonite.
It's particularly, it's the game 5, right? Yeah. Like, yes, against KT, they were able to win, but KT has got a bunch of stuff going on themselves.
There's other history
as I'm sure you guys know, knowing lore. But particularly, you know, the game against RNG, the game 5, the game against DRX, that's the one that everyone is going to immediately think of when they were so close to ending, still not able to make it through. And then very recently, we had the 5th game against Gen G, again denying them. Right now, mid lane turret is imminent to fall with this Herald dropping in.
I mean, even last year, JDG in the upper bracket, didn't they also lose the game 5, knocking them down into the lowers? The pressure is on. Broken Blade has joined the fight. Dragon, 54 seconds.
Oh, yeah, he's going to ride this one away. Dashes across. Owner knocked into the wall. Oh! Shot. The Elastic shot charged away, but the Higgs to TP in by Cats. T1 trying to retreat because already they have lost. Owner stretching, strike into the all-out. Broken Blade pulled across the wall. He'll Elastic shot out with his spear. He finds Summer, and every time you count him out, Faker is there to find the fight. TP behind now by Faker. Mickey and Yike trying to run away. Another charm onto Caps. Faker no Spirit Rush, no flash, but Caps has no HP left.
Faker is him, and he continues to prove why. An incredible pick onto Han Summer, converts into a TP flank, and they're not done just yet.
Oh, big thing here, though, is that right now they're not able to allow them to go for Baron. I think they will end up dying, but denying the Baron from T1 is still big.
Broken Blade survives for a very long time here, goes back into the Cell division. Faker and Carrier start to retreat. Zeus here to try and back up. But Broken Blade back to half HP. Super Mega Death Rocket up in 5 seconds. If Han Summer can find a snipe onto Faker, not quite able to do it. Faker and Carrier do their due diligence and back away in a safe spot.
You just can't underestimate this man. In what looked like a one-sided fight for G2, they were going to get themselves the Dragon, start to snowball this game. This is where it starts. Owner gets locked up by Mickey. A great initiation as the 3-person knockup into the follow-up from Broken Blade. But just keep your eyes on Faker in this play. Nice ulti from Zeus to drag away the front line. And then Faker, out of nowhere, with the control ward, finds that charm and flashes away. Beautiful, just beautiful from Faker.
The man was having one of the worst series I've seen from him in recent years. And that pick, in of itself, not going to be enough. Still a gold lead for G2. But it's showcasing the backline threat that T1 have. If it gets messy, if it gets scrappy, I think big there as well is that while the initial knockup from Mickey, I think, found 3 people, the follow-up from Broken Blade only hit onto Owner. So they were able to take him down, but the backline was able to make their way back, and it forced G2 to further extend. Or rather, they opted into further extending.
That was a great play from Faker. The question is, can he keep finding those plays?
Not
because
enough.
we saw how difficult these fights are going to be with the engage from G2. And that circumstance was a bit of an overextension with which Faker was incredible at punishing. But can they do it again? Because it's going to be reliant on Owner and Faker to keep finding these plays. Level 14 for the Ahri. The Medjai's could very well come soon. He's got 6 stacks on his ring so far. And this game is delivering.
Gumayushi has the edge of night. Chain of Corruption already used. Weaver's wall in by Caps. Guma flashes. Yike with the knock-up seismic shot. Bates call out. TP in now by T1 as they look to take the fight. Zeus locked up for a moment and Yike is deleted. Owner found the flag, but now he'll fall. Zeus on the backline onto Han Summer. Flash away. Mickey's trying to body block, but Zeus goes all out. Just this once. Faker dives into the backline. Caps next up for Zeus. And Faker's on a rampage. Caps just can't get through Zeus. He is not fed enough. And the flash away from Caps buys him a second, but that's all it's going to be. You can't buy class, and Faker's here to fight.
And of all people, the person criticized most in Game 5's was Zeus, but his Cassante there drew so much attention, created so much space, and now T1 on a gold lead. But again, crucially, G2 pulled them away from the Baron, so the game stays even. And I know we're 23 minutes in, but I hope this one lasts much, much longer.
The momentum has just completely shifted. They thought they'd caught Guma out. Caps even walls him off to force the flash, but this TP was so crucial. Carrier brings back his AD carry. G2 is now funneled into this choke point. A great kick from Ona results in an exchange of junglers, but Zeus finds his target. He locks down the AD carry, forces the flash out from Hansama, gets to Knocker, brings him back in range, and then Faker with his mobility finds access onto the backline. A great team fight from T1 once again.
And the Fate's call. That was really what I think the one thing that G2 didn't calculate. Thought that they had the immobile AD carry. Wasn't enough of Zeus. Is he going to be in trouble?
I don't think so. I think Mickey's just being a nuisance more than anything else.
He is also Cassante, so I always overestimate how much damage that champion takes.
Hansama decelerated in this game. Only Infinity Edge Crack can still complete on him. He is building up towards his next item, but Faker has 3. Banshees, Lichbane, and the Malignance. Zeus here, knocked back with the seismic shot, but you just see how little damage they do. Caps only has 2 items. Leandri's Seraph's not going to work his way through.
I mean, this champion is just so strong. Level 14, he's about to hit level 15. No penetration items yet on the side of G2, which means that they are barely going to tickle him. Ari being sent off to a side lane. Level 16 going to be secured for Faker in a moment. The Dragon is spawning soon. He's just a little bit off it. But here comes the TP back to mid. He knows the collapse is happening.
Faker will be fine. We talked a lot about how are T1 going to kill Broken Blade on this Zac. The flip side is also true. If Hans dies...
Mickey looked up, and Mickey is down. Broken Blade's going to elastic slingshot out, but immediately pings to Baron. T1 know exactly what they want out of this situation. Mickey up in 25 seconds, but T1, it looks like, are just going to get this Baron uncontested. G2 playing through mid. Can they get there in time?
Faker controlling the vision. They don't know where he is. They have to face check into him. There's the charm.
Yike, smite to get off the Banshee's Veil. Spirit Rush away by Faker. Baron down to a 10,000. Super Mega Death Rocket from G2. Mickey on his way. Ono on the flank. Faker still has 2 Spirit Rush charges as T1 continue to chip away at the Baron. It's down to 6,000. Spirit Rush forward. Charm. Zeus on that front line. Yike having to dash away. Broken Blade locked up and Tofu's back. Zeus down to half HP. Faker no Spirit Rush left. The Baron's still low as Ona's looking to smite it. He'll get it. But will Zeus fallen when the resets happen for G2? Onto the backline goes Mickey. Carrier's almost taking him out. Carrier almost falls himself. Ona dives in. Hansama just needs 1 to really open up. Ona goes down. G2 have lost 2 already though, and Zeus can dash back in. Hansama, only the cleanse, no flash. Can G2 do it from here? Cell division in by Broken Blade. The Baron already secured by T1, but G2 do not want them to get out without a fight. Weavers will forward. Faker low on mana. Chain of Corruption, Edge of Night popped. Gumayushi almost falling, but is able to dodge away from the seismic shove. And T1 are on the wrong side of the map right now. Any TPs up, no one up for 30 seconds. Elastic slingshot forward, and Carrier will pull him out with a Fate's Core, but Carrier's down now. Guma next up for Broken Blade, who flashes away from the piercing arrow, and Guma goes down. Faker, no mana left on him. The TP behind as G2 begins to collapse. Faker, how the hell do you get out of this one? I don't think you do. Get some mana, he escapes the honey fruit, but T1 gets Faker out alive.
And the man just walks it off, but G2 still take out all the Baron buffs.
Wait, we're not over yet, because remember that the Dragon is still up. Caps commits the TP. Zeus is back in the fight. Yike is back out on the map, and the Dragon is still alive. This is sole point for T1.
Oh no flash, but does have a smite. The Sonic Wave across the wall. G2 secured the Scuttle Crab. Faker on his way. Has a flash of his own. Flash charm, a possibility. Broken Blade takes the blast cone. Zeus trying to be that front line for Ona. Faker flanking. G2 unaware, but the Dragon secured by G2 now. Will they go for more? They've been greedy a couple of times this game. Instead, now they start to back away. Faker lying in wait. Box by, no charm. Broken Blade escapes.
That's going to be the bounty picked up for G2 as well, off of the back of the Baron, even though it's almost a 1k negative Rebel Baron power play. And the key thing here this time around, yes, Zeus buys a lot of time. Yes, T1 get the Baron, but Hans Sama isn't threatened this time around.
But just watch Ona. I feel like T1 is out at this point. An amazing ultimate here from Zeus to get away to safety.
He goes over the rocks.
But look at Ona here. He just goes back in. He stuns himself. He gives he gives G2 the ability to re-engage. And once those resets start to pop off, that is where G2 come alive in the fight. We have to get back to live, though.
Yeah,
we got to get back to live.
We saw this. They chased them for a while, guys. T1 pushing in bot. That Baron obviously going to expire relatively soon. They lost 1,000 gold out of it. Good. It's a good chase by G2. Good job, Broken Blade. This is a nice flash. Well done. Faker tries to re-engage, but he just can't kill off Caps. And then obviously he takes the honey fruit to escape.
Doesn't have the mana. By the end of it, though, this game is still basically exactly where we began at the start of the Baron
Look at the
play.
vision bot lane and TP available for Faker. About to hit level 17. Hans needs to be extremely careful.
Oh, the flanking angle. You're right, Vedi.
I mean, I'm just keeping my eyes on bottom. The pings have happened.
Yeah. This is
Faker
TP.
knows.
Zeus no TP. Hans Sama does have flash cleanse. He has Mickey to back him up as well. Broken Blade, elastic slingshots away, and you feel like every moment on the edge of the abyss, on a precipice, a knife's edge for this game.
Take a look. Attempted play there from T1.
Has flash, stretching strike, face call. Big ultimate out.
But he's brought away to safety. Dragon and Baron, 2.5, 3 minutes away.
What a series!
An incredibly tense
Holy
game.
moly!
I mean, I will say, the way these fights have been playing out, I'm starting to favor the way T1 are executing them. Yes, on paper, you'd think the front to back should be in G2's favor, but still no armor penetration on the side of Hans Sama. He's barely going to be able to get through this level 16 behemoth that is Zeus. The poke is still very relevant from Gumayushi, who, even after all his early struggles, actually has the XP advantage over Hans. And honestly, Yike is doing nothing in these fights. This Belveth has so little impact compared to what Owner is capable of doing. It's ultimately going to come down to execution. Flashes are plenty on the side of T1. Same can be said for G2. Baron 2 minutes away as T1 set vision control up around the top side of the map.
I think the important thing is when Hans Sama gets Lord Doms. If he gets it before the next fight, I think it entirely changes the landscape of the fight. He's now got a Zeal, though, no Lord Doms. For Hans Sama, I guess the only armor really sitting on Zeus, but I feel you want to be able to make your way through that tank.
Guma clearing the wave, Edge of Night giving him so much safety. You'd see as well, as soon as Keria gets his ult up again, he's much more willing to step forward, really respecting the impact of this Zac. And that is one thing that I do think we're gonna now actually see, is that Broken Blade is free 1 and free, has his Jack Show's Spirit Visage, and his Sunfire as well. Faker did actually upgrade his Magi's, but he's also not built, which I don't think he should build any form of magic penetration. I think he should be looking to kill the #1 target, which is Hans.
Regardless of the outcome of this series, I'm just so grateful that both of these teams have showed both the highs and lows of what they are capable of. An incredible best of 5. 32 minutes in, we're getting closer to the end. A single fight could determine the outcome of the whole game.
And do you remember 4 days ago when everyone was saying, oh, it's just 3-0s until the upper bracket?
That's what they said.
Holy moly.
I think we've never been happy to be wrong. You know, everyone wants to see
happy
this.
to be wrong.
Everyone wants to see the competitive series. Yesterday, we were treated. I mean, and this one feels like dessert.
LEC fans are on the precipice of feeling that hope once again.
I mean, of the biggest victory for the LEC since 2019, I think.
Yeah. But here we go. Baron returns to the Rift right now. G2 have mid control. The dance back and forth. Zeus is not losing any HP. Faker connects the charm. Really nice damage onto Yike. He's going to be forced to back off.
Drake and Baron alive in 20 seconds. Baron already up, of course. Yike goes across, gets some health. Mickey takes a bit of a chunk from Zeus, who is on that front line. Edge of Night on Gumayushi, giving him a bit of protection. Banshee's Veil on Faker too. They don't know that Faker's there. Chain of Corruption just short. T1 trying to wrestle control of the mid lane to get into this river. No vision there for G2. Sonic Wave on Broken Blade spots him out. Caps trying to get the mid lane control once again. Owner going in, pulled back with a stretching strike, but Broken Blade more of a nuisance than anything. Caps down to half HP. Yike dashing forward. Faker doing the same. Faker goes in with the Spirit Monster Charm going short. As Yike lands the knockup, he gets a stretching strike back, and Faker's locked against the wall. And Faker is down, buried beneath the earth. Can G2 find more? Hans Sama stepping forward, but Yike is. T1 can still turn this fight back on its head. Zeus no flash, obviously he's running the ghost, but he does have Q3 right now as it landed onto Caps. Zeus going in, knocked back. Mickey dashes into the wall, his owner's locked up. Unsummer dodging away from the Sonic Wave, and can he really open up? Not quite. Broken Blade's going to go into the Cell Division, the seismic shot just short. Broken Blade likely to fall here. Yike was trying to heal himself back up, but Broken Blade goes down. Another Q from Zeus. He finds his mark, and T1 march down the mid lane.
You might be able to take out Faker, but the real raid boss is Zeus. This man just will not fall. They don't have the damage to kill him. And as long as he stands strong, T1's team fighting is still alive.
And that's the engage gone. No one on G2 can come close. As T1, Faker is about up. Yeah, they'll get a Camtech Drake, but that's not what you're going to be looking towards. Carrier, he's harassing Faker is there.
Faker goes in, there's the charm, cleansed away by Hans Summer. The charm actually came out second. Even I was deceived as Hans Summer was. Faker showing exactly why he is the GOAT.
The Baron is secured. Caps.
He has Banshees.
He has the Banshees.
Baron is taken by T1.
With Hans Summer gone, that's 40 seconds. T1 maybe. Okay, maybe an end is a little ambitious. The wave clear is still there from Caps.
Only one minion here, the next wave on its way, about 5 seconds away. Carrier dashing forward. Gumiyushi has that lethality, but Mana Moon alongside it. Weaver's Wall will stop the minion wave. 20 seconds on Hansama. T1 can still push in. The minions, they're having a little trip going to see the pandas, but they'll make their way out of the jungle and make their march down the mid lane. Hansama still 10 seconds away. T1 maybe just go for the inhibitor, but maybe even more. Can sense blood in the water, can close out the series. Yike was going for the flank, but can't find it. T1 back away before taking the inhib.
I don't know if G2 have enough damage to get through Zeus in these extended fights. It is just a battle of the front lines, but it's Broken Blade who's falling first. Faker now with the death cap.
Sold his Medjais for it.
He's so strong. And yes, in the previous fight, he fell short. Caps took a lot of damage to start things off. Great poke from the bot lane of T1. Faker fully commits onto Yike, misses the charm, gets knocked up. Flash in from Broken Blade. Follow-up flash from Mickey. They get the kill. At this point, you're thinking this is a great position for G2 to be in, but they've taken so much damage already. And now in the extended fight, Zeus is just a raid boss that will not move. Caps gets knocked back. The damage from Gumiyushi and Carry is still good. You think that the backline dive from G2 is enough, but Zeus is just zoning everyone away.
It's also just, I feel like G2 not on the same page there, right? Have the team, like, yes, Caps is zoned away, but I don't think that's the case for Hans. He's full health. As the summoners available, you gotta step up there if the rest of your team is making a play for the backline, but it's not the case. Rebel Baron powerplay now almost free K for T1, but they still don't have the inhib, and that's crucial. But if their backline can stay safe, I don't know if G2 can make it, especially because, again, there's no LDR.
Yeah. G2 are going to try and collapse on Zeus, who was pushing him in. Seismic shove going out, but the all-out to dodge the CC from Zeus. His Cassante in these last 2 games has been a wonderful sight to see. T1 now use that pressure, push in the bot lane. They don't need the inhibs yet. The Weaver's Wall coming out. Carrier on the wrong side of it, but he's got the flash. Chain of Corruption going wide as T1 look to make their final advance into the base of G2. Zeus keeping Broken Blade at bay. Yike looking for an engage. Super Mega Death Rocket hits onto Gumiyushi, who does have flash. Carrier, remember, has just burnt his. Faker no flash either, but he's got that Banshee's Veil. He's got that veil of safety that G2 have been unable to penetrate. Now the inhibitor in the mid lane, T1's target. And G2 just can't get in. Zeus dashes forward, but that's double inhib to T1.
Oh, and double inhib. That's so hard to come back from because this is going to chain into what probably will be a Camtech Soul. 41 is Mickey!
Mickey charmed up! Mickey put in the dirt, 6 feet under. Maybe short to be followed by G2. The seismic shove on owner, but the chain of corruption lands onto Caps. And a stopwatch can only buy you a second to stop and watch your team be ruined by T1. This far and no further. This close and no closer. For G2, this was the day they almost beat T1. For T1, it's just another Friday.
Stunned, Benny! I'm stunned!
Just like that, a game state that looked so winning for G2 off the back of that man, Faker. So many miracle plays this game. An incredible performance from him. Zeus, the man in the top lane to help back him up with that Cassante. T1 will not falter. They will not fall into the losers bracket. G2 made them sweat for it, but today T1 are the victors.
This series surely going to go down in history because the expectations, at least from the LCK perspective, a 3-0, a 3-1 if you were generous, if G2 had a good angle, you know, some creative drafts, but that wasn't what today's series was about. Up until the very end, it felt like either team could take it, but in the end, execution trumps all. I cannot believe that into Poppy, into Talia, T1 were able to pull that off.
Just what a series. What a performance by T1 as well. Breaking their loss streak in international best-of-5 game 5s, overcoming that curse for G2. The first victory against T1 since 2020. I think if it was an elimination game, I wouldn't be saying this, but I had a lot of fun in this series.
God.
And we're going to hand it over to the analyst desk, but stick around for the Verizon post-game interview with Mickey X in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. Faker will be shortly after. Holy moly.
Holy moly, indeed. We'll take over. I'm sure that took a lot of energy. What a series. And just to clarify, perhaps we'll hear from Mickey X first because the LCK won, so they get to interview their player of choice first. So then we'll get to our pick later. If you were wondering, but oh my God, what is it? My heart is completely shattered, but it's almost glued back together by the fact that I got to watch this best of 5 here in Chengdu. Wow.
And the fact, as Menik alluded to, it's not an elimination game, right? So you still get another chance as G2, but what a series. What a performance from T1 as well to go down in the series in game 5 and bring it back like that. Even going down at the start of this game.
Yes.
And then Faker's Ari bringing it all together.
I know we were talking about during the draft, just essentially hitting on, these are iconic picks for T1. All of them across the board, but compositionally, really hard to deal with what G2 has. But man, they just turned it on. Faker was him today.
He was doing the stretches after. I saw a smile. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I would be happy with that because it's also so great, I guess, from T1's perspective because you're in the first round of the bracket stage. You're getting pushed.
Yes.
You're getting pushed into a match point for the enemy. You're getting your game back in game 4. You get to that point where you've lost those games 5s a couple of times too many when it comes to these situations. And you can just navigate everything that G2 throws at you.
And it was 2 members on this team that really turned it up because we talked about how Faker was really falling behind throughout the beginning points of this series. And we also talked about how Broken Blade had the best of Zeus. But Zeus really had an incredible Cassante game, 2 games in a row, where he was, I think, the leader of this team.
Yeah, and I mean, after the first couple of games where it wasn't really going his way, and we were looking at the draft, and I was thinking, I don't think G2 thought Cassante was the problem in that last game because everything else was. And then you let it through. And it's not that it's, even if it's not a huge problem, it's still a big problem with the ability to take someone out of the fight, with the ability to withstand so much in that Baron pit.
Yeah. I think there are, look, we're going to call a spade. I think we needed the earlier LDR. We heard the casters talk about it as well, coming through for Hans Sama. He could not hurt this Cassante. As soon as the Randuins came in, it was nothing.
Oh, this is wrong. We need to add 1 day, actually.
But yeah, one day we will get to rub that board off. But look, I think...
Oh, no.
The big thing...
Yeah, what the hell? They had that plan.
But,
Did they?
Yeah, I think that coming back into it, Cassante was definitely a problem. They had no real way to deal with it because Talia is not going to be able to do it. And honestly, the Bel'Veth didn't really do a huge amount against it either.
No.
You needed to find something for it.
You hated the Bel'Veth, I know, and you hated Hans Sama's build.
Yeah, the LDR needed to come through. It needed to desperately. I mean, you started off this game as a 3-kill Jinx and dealt 18k damage. You nearly dealt as much as that. Like, that is an issue. And the problem was not with Hans Sama's positioning, not that he wasn't auto-attacking, it was that the auto-attacks were doing nothing. So I really wanted to see it come through earlier, and I think that play with how well Zayas put himself in front of Hans Sama, denied him access to fights, was really what came back to bite G2.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Mickey had an incredible early game to expand that lead because to the point, I didn't like the Bel'Veth, the level 1 didn't work, so he was just trying to recuperate at least some experience, even getting his own blue buff stolen from him. So it's like, it's all into the 3-kill Jinx, and they were accelerating. It was sad to see the build, but also T1 had insane moments. I still remember that tier 2 mid-lane turret play in which he got that Ahri ulti and charm onto his Jinx and turned this game over.
We'll crown our player of the series after our very first interview of the 2 we're going to get. We have Mickey standing by with Lore for the first of our Verizon post-game interviews.
Mickey, thank you for joining me after this intense back and forth series. It was intense for us, so talk me through the development game after game after game. How do you reflect on everything we got to witness so far?
Yeah, I guess we started off kind of slow. I think early games were actually not bad, but then I think a lot of it came down to team fights. I think we got team fought 2 of the games, which we lost, even though I think our comp was pretty solid overall. So yeah, props to them, but I felt like we were getting pretty good advantages on the map, so that's why even though we lost, it still didn't feel that bad compared to last year, where whenever we lost, we just got outclassed on the map, team fights everywhere. It is this time around, I felt like it was only team fights, or mostly team fights. And yeah, I think drafts were also like pretty interesting. I got to play some Poppy. That was fun.
I'm glad that you mentioned drafts because you showed a lot of stuff. Hopefully you have more tricks up your sleeve. But what were your understanding of T1 to have this kind of drafts prepared? Because you got a time to analyze them.
I felt like they play a lot of like aggressive bot laners. So we kind of tried to avoid that. I think they got like a very aggressive one in the last game. And we were not really sure what to pick. We never tried really Poppy versus it, but I was just like, and Poppy's good in the game. I'll try Halo Blades because Halo Blades like I tried it before in solo queue, it looked good, and it kind of worked out. We were like kind of one-shotting them, and we got some good leads, and then we kind of started swapping. So the game was looking pretty good. I think we just a lot of that game we started overchasing, and then it turned out pretty bad overall.
You mentioned the Poppy game. You played amazing, Mickey. Honestly, throughout this series, what was your confidence level?
Well, after the first game was pretty low. Actually, no. Yeah, the first game was like a bit rough. I was like, played kind of bad. And the second game I started 0-4, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so fucking bad. Oh, my bad. But then it started getting better, but my E's were not hitting. And then the Poppy game, the third game, I was like, okay, nice. Like my Poppy was actually good. Like even though I messed up again, like level 2, where we died 2 for 1. Mm-hmm. After that, I started actually doing some good plays and good picks. So after that, my confidence was back. And then game 4, what did I play? Renata. Mm-hmm. That game was a bit hard, I guess. But we still felt like we had a good idea of, or like good momentum going to next game because we're blue side again, and it's like a bit easier. And also the draft was like, I mean, we were like a bit wondering like if they're actually gonna pick Varus Kalista because like they take both, and they're like, oh, what 8 gear do we have? Yeah, Jinx Kalista, Jinx Poppy looked fine. But yeah, overall, I mean, confidence is like all right, I guess. We could have sure won the series, so it doesn't feel too bad. But yeah, it feels bad that we also lost when it was like kind of a free win. So
I see smiles, so I like it, especially moving forward to the next series against PSG. What did you think of the what did you think of the series they played yesterday, and yeah, expectations moving forward to the next
PSG?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they looked kind of good. Like I think not many people expected them to actually take it to 5 games. So we have to be well prepared and hope they don't take us to 5 games. But yeah, feeling pretty confident going into it. And I think if we play like similar to today, we should probably win. But I'm sure we can do much better as well, and then not make it even close.
Sure, a lot of learnings from that series, hopefully. Mickey, thank you so much for this interview.
Yes, indeed. Don't do like the funniest thing you could ever do, which is a very G2 thing, which is like almost beat T1 and then go down and out of the lower bracket. I like that he's giving right. I think it kind of feels like he's taking the right things away from it, being we were very competitive in that series, so we don't want to be too down on it. Look at the things we can improve. Don't underestimate PSG. Try to be even more convincing and close up those shortcomings. It's good, but you also see the frustration, obviously, because otherwise something would be wrong with them.
Yeah, and I think he's accepting that losers bracket's going to be a banger. That's not over just yet, and I know that. Okay, I'm not going to do any more spoil. I'm not going to do any more cursing. I'm done with cursing. But, like, this team is damn good. They proved a point. They've gained a lot of fans in this stadium and at home.
We'll see. Oh my God, my heart. But what a wonderful performance from all of T1. We have to crown our Oppo player of the series. And it's Gumeyushi. Now, it was actually pretty difficult, I want to say, because there were some up and down performances, but is it because he's so incredibly consistent?
Yeah, it's the consistency for me that was the big standout. There were several times in this game, or over the course of this series, where, well, one, Gumeyushi was just destroying the opposite side on the lanes, but also then when it came to team fights, consistently positioning well, great ultimate usage, being able to get out the damage that he needs to. And although you had like little standout performers on T1, it felt more like a whole working together as a whole. It was Gumeyushi that was consistently dealing that DPS and being that standout carry.
Exactly. It was really difficult, but to the point that you made, I think T1, when they were winning games, they won it together. And there were some heroic performances from Zeus and Faker, but the earlier points of this series were really difficult for them. So Gumeyushi was the one that really stood tall for me. So it's nice to see him, of course. And it was him and Karya.
Yeah.
Both of those guys,
Yeah.
I think, actually did stand up throughout the series.
Yeah, highlights for T1 across the series. Also, owner saying, no, I'm just going to slam Lee Sin here and make it work. Amazing. And I do hear that Faker is ready. So we'll get to hear from the king himself with Lord Jisun in the Verizon post-game interview.
Faker, thank you so much for joining me after this very back and forth series. What are your main takeaways? What do you think about everything that happened? 5 games, intense ones.
오늘 정말 엄청난 녹박 경기 명승부가 나왔습니다. 방금 경기에서 가장 크게 얻어가는 점이 있다면 아니면 가장 큰 인상이 있다면 무엇인가요?
일단 G2가 정말 좀 되게 많은 것들을 준비했다고 생각되고 저희가 그래서 되게 좀 호되게 당했었는데 그래도 뭐 여러모로 잘 풀려서 좋은 결과가 있었던 것 같습니다.
I could immediately tell G2 prepared so much for the series, and early on in the series, we kind of got punished by it. But later on, everything worked out fine, so we were able to, get the win in the end.
Could you give me some specifics as to what you could have done better as a team?
오늘 팀적으로 그러면 이 부분은 우리가 조금 더 잘했을 수 있겠다 싶은 구체적인 그런 순간이 있었을까요?
일단 초반 전술에 대한 대처가 조금 미흡했던 것 같고 또 G2의 플레이 스타일에 대한 그런 연구가 조금 더 잘 되었어야 됐다고 생각이 들고 그리고 무엇보다도 좀 인게임에서 실수가 잦았던 게 컸던 것 같습니다.
I want to point out 3 stuff. First off, I think our reaction to the early game strategy from G2 was a little poor. And also, I think our read on G2's kind of play style in general was also not on point. I think we should have done a better kind of research on that. And lastly, there were a lot of mistakes in general.
I feel like G2 versus T1 is becoming an international classic. What do you think when you know that you're going to face off against G2? What does this matchup mean to you?
이제 T1 G2전은 정말 언제나 조금 명승부가 나오는 게 보장된 그런 이제 매치업 같은데요. 이렇게 상대방이 G2라는 거를 알게 되면 어떤 경기를 좀 기대하시게 되나요?
사실 뭐 G2와 만난 지도 되게 오래됐기 때문에 그런 플레이 스타일이 좀 달라지지 않았을까 생각했는데 확실히 예전에 만났을 때랑 되게 비슷한 면이 보여가지고 좀 놀랐고 이번 경기도 마찬가지로 좋은 시리즈였다고 생각합니다.
I mean, because it's been so long since he actually last faced G2 in an international tournament, so I was expecting them to be a little different in terms of play style, but I was surprised to see a lot of similarities in the past, so it was also amazing, and I think we were able to showcase a very entertaining and great series together.
Entertaining, for sure. A bit more about you. This year you got reunited with Koma. You guys have been used to working together. Tell me about refreshing the synergy with an old friend here.
그리고 정말 오랫동안 함께했던 김정균 감독님과 또 재회가 이루어진 한 해잖아요. 두 분이 다시 이제 워낙 서로 잘 알고 계신데 다시 합을 맞추게 된 그런 과정은 어땠는지 궁금합니다.
일단 뭐 이번 경기에서도 그렇고 좀 지난 오랫동안 좀 여러 부분에서 좀 도움 많이 주시고 오늘도 좀 선수들을 믿어 주셨기 때문에 좋은 결과가 있었다고 생각합니다.
Just like last year's and just this year in general, I think we were able to have a great support from Goma in every aspect possible. And also in the series today especially, he had a huge faith in the players, so we were able to work it out together.
I see. And moving on to the next series is going to be against BLG. What did you think of the series they played yesterday against PSG?
다음 상대는 BLG인데요. 어제 PSG전 보시면서 어떤 생각이 들었나요?
확실히 PSG가 되게 좀 좋은 모습을 많이 보여줬던 것 같고 또 오늘 경기도 그렇고 되게 예상대로 경기가 흘러가지는 않는다는 것을 저는 생각을 했고요. 다음 PSG전도 그만큼 어떤 경기가 될지 잘 모르겠다고 생각하고 있습니다.
I thought PSG, they performed really well, and same as today and yesterday, I learned that, the series doesn't really go as we all expect. There's nothing we can know about how it's going to turn out. So same goes for tomorrow, I think. We never know what is ahead of us.
Anything you would like to improve upon for the next series? Any specific detail, maybe?
그럼 다음 시리즈에서 조금 이 부분은 더 잘하고 싶다 싶은 부분 있나요?
그냥 전반적으로 좀 라인전 단계부터 한타까지 좀 다 잘하고 싶습니다.
Everything starting from the laning phase till this team fight, just everything in general.
The goal is to be perfect. As always, Faker, thank you so much. 인터뷰 감사합니다. And Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful interview. And hearing from Faker is always a treat. Of course, T1 will be moving on in that upper bracket with that victory, playing their best of 5 against BLG. I'm not sure if it's like tomorrow or 2 days after, but we'll find out in just a second. BLG T1, which is, of course, a rematch from MSI last year, where BLG, it was further on in the tournament, beat them 3-1.
Yeah, in an interview when asked on that one, they said they definitely wanted to face against BLG just because of that rematch.
Yeah.
They wanted to be able to prove that they can beat them since the last MSI, so that's going to be a beautiful match. And then Top Esports versus Gen G. These are just bangers in the top bracket.
I cannot wait to see that up at round 3. That's going to be absolutely insane.
I'm trolling. It's probably just the matches that were earlier that are tomorrow, but let's double check. Indeed, it's Fnatic versus TL up first in the lower bracket. So lower bracket means you can't lose any more matches or you're going home. And then Gen G versus TES in the upper bracket. That is at the tail end of that day. So 2 best of 5s tomorrow.
Okay, I have a trade deal.
Okay.
G2 goes far in the tournament. Team Liquid beats Fnatic. You taking it?
I don't want to sell out one of my teams.
I'm putting it at you because I don't want to answer.
I would love this proposition. Is that a handshake? Is that a handshake?
I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved.
You know what? No, but it does show where NA's priorities lie, and that's why you won't get far.
Hey, man, I'm desperate for anything.
You know what? Here, you can put that in this hand
I'm
instead.
trolling. I'm trolling. I'm also desperate for that revenge. Anyways, wow, what a day. It was an absolute joy covering this match with you two on the analyst desk. Tomorrow we have 2 best of 5s. The day after, we also have 2 best of 5s. So we're going to get some rest. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. TL versus Fnatic, 6 a.m. Eastern European, Eastern European, 12 a.m. Eastern US, so midnight?
Maybe.
Right?
Yep.
Right. Correct. It's been a long day. Bye-bye. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 2024 Mid-Season Invitational.
Caps going in, not back. We've seen Caps do this before he flashes. Not quite enough damage, but one more auto is enough.
Nice Caps. Nice Caps. On the range minions. No. He's dead. Come. Actually, stay okay? Stay forward. We win this, okay? Wait. Yeah, wait. Go, now. Let's go, Keep going. Nice one. Nice! No mana.
In the pit for G2, Carrier flashing, not back, locked up with the stun card, and it's T1 G0.
I can exit behind them. Yeah, looks good. I can TP soon. Nice, good job. You need help? I'll kill him, guys. Tell her. Dead. Very good, Nice, boys.
Cap steps in, Pop Blossom! What? It's beautiful! But they do not have the damage as G2 even out the series.
Wasn't that bad of a trade?
Astro flight forward by Faker. Caps just needs the autos. Faker! Just taken out by Caps in the 1v1. Falling Star, Kevin trying to put the damage down, but it's too short on Summer. Oh, he thought he was gorgeous, and he was! Caps down, the shutdown goes to Guma. Mickey trying to put the hammer smash into the last breath. Owner down, Guma down, that's it. T1 down.
Nice! Let's go, boys. Guys, it's nil-nil, okay? It's nil-nil. Yeah.
Owner gonna tank the tower. Audacious charge is enough. The G2 wanted, and Faker has had enough.
Then skeptical.
Loud hang splash into the wall. Broken blade pulled across the wall. He'll elastic thing shot out of the spear. Faker, he finds Summer, and watch your team be ruined by T1. This far and no further. This close and no closer. Keep on